Welcome to my first YouTube video on my YouTube channel. My name is Yash. I'm just going to be going over a few trades that I took over the past week. I actually decided that I was going to do a vlog, basically a Forex video journal, just covering my wins and losses I experienced over the past week on the Forex pairs that I traded. Yeah, so we can get straight to it. The first pair that I traded this week was CHF JPY. I was going for a buy on this pair. So basically I started off just identifying the trend. We were going on a uptrend. In the long term, we can see that the pair has been moving up for quite some time, since October, and I identified that on the daily. Then I moved down to the 4 hour. I could also tell on the daily that the uptrend was quite strong as well, so I was able to draw a trend line and also some support and resistance zones. So we went down to the 4 hour. This is where I started to see some sort of short-term support holding up around the 116 level, and also price had bounced off the 116.3 support zone, so it gave me two confirmations that price could in fact be bouncing up off that zone and moving up towards the 117.5 resistance zone. So it gave me a good opportunity to open up a buy position, and also you can see that I've drawn a short-term trend line to the upside. I was able to make this trade itself was 69 pips, but I exited quite early off this short-term resistance over here. I was able to collect approximately 50, I would say 55 pips off that trade. Okay, so the next pair that I looked at this week was CAD JPY. So basically this pair was also going on a strong uptrend as well. As you can tell, I look for pairs that are going on very strong uptrends or downtrends that will give me a high probability setup. So going off the chart for the CAD JPY, price action was moving up, and also you could say fundamentally the Canadian dollar is stronger than the JPY because the price action has been moving up for the past few months. It's been moving up. Looking at this setup here, so we had the trend line going up from August, and also there was a few support resistance zones that I was able to draw. There was a few confirmations that made me enter a long position. We had the long-term trend line, the 50 MA moving average, and also the short-term resistance turned support. And also we could tell there was quite a few wicks causing the candlestick to bounce off that short-term support, indicating weakness in sellers. So I entered a short position. Here, and I put my target on the next resistance zone around the 81.7 area, and I put my stop loss underneath the previous low. So my risk was 1.94, close to 2, so 2 to 1 risk reward ratio. And as we can see, it played out pretty nicely. I actually exited this trade when I exited the trade catching 65 pips. That would have been around here. Okay, so that one is done. The next trade that I took was the GBP CAD. So let's see. So I actually entered around here, and my stop loss was, put it under this low, and my target was over here. I was looking for price to actually touch the resistance zone at 1.75. On this trade I was able to catch 30 pips off this entire 126 pip move. I exited very early around here, so I just decided I might be coming back for a retest. However, I should have held it because there is a long-term bias to the upside. So yeah, I could learn from that on my next trade. If I did hold it, I would have made 120 27 pips. It was quite a good trade overall. And now I'm just going to be waiting for another setup. So we can see here I did respect off this trend line to the upside over here. So there's quite a few touches off this trend line. So next week we could possibly see a move up, and finally break this zone over here. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I entered a long position on the US 30. So the first thing I look at is the overall trend, and we're moving up. We've been moving up since March. So I was able to draw my long-term trend line. I was also able to draw a few support resistance zones at key levels. So on the 31st of August, we were around here somewhere. Yep. So I basically entered over here off this bullish candle because there was a few confirmations. We had the 50 MA bounce, the trend line bounce over here. There was also a bounce off this resistance turn support line, this resistance turn support line as well. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmations and 5 confirmations including that bullish candle. So let's go down to the H1 and see where I'll show you guys where I exited the trade, because I only made 33 pips. I should have actually held it. Another one I should have held for longer, but I exited off the resistance level over here. Price still went up. It bounced, or it broke through that resistance level and retouched that trend line and continued to move up. So I could have made maybe 60 pips and then exited when I saw some weakness over here. So right now it's going through a correction. We'll see if it actually decides to respect this trend line and continue to move higher, and also this long-term trend. We do see some weakness of this H4 candle. So next week, if it actually breaks above this zone and bounces back, retests, I could possibly look for another long position. So those 4 trades I took, and it resulted in profit. And I'll quickly go over the trades that I took but ended up in break even, so I didn't actually make any money from it. GBP JPY. Oh yeah, so I entered around here and my target was the resistance zone over here. Just a quick explanation as to why I took the trade. We're moving up, strong uptrend on the daily. H4 still moving up, and it was also respecting this short-term trend line here. So there was 1 touch, 2 touch, and also the price was able to bounce off this resistance turn support, off this resistance zone, as well as the short-term resistance line at 141.42. And there was also a bullish engulfing candle, but I didn't enter off that. I entered before that candle closed. So if I had held it for longer than I did, I would have been able to make close to 100 pips, but I broke even. So when price went up to around here somewhere, I moved my stop loss to 0. So if it did go against me, I wouldn't end up in a loss. Overnight the price just reversed and then it came back and hit my stop loss at break even, so I didn't actually make any money from this trade. This is where I entered, moved up, and then I thought it was going to continue to go up, but it just reversed and took me out. That's fine. More opportunities to come. So similar to GBP JPY, price moved up off this resistance turned support level, as well as this one, and I entered the trade around here because I did see some sort of strong bullish candle here. But if I had exited around here, I would have made 100 pips or 109 pips, brought my stop loss up to break even, and price went back and came down and took me out. So I could have made 100 pips on both GBP and JPY as well as GBP CAD, but that's fine. I still able to make 160 pips for the week, so that's pretty good. Yeah, so Thanks for watching my first vlog, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like and a comment. Yeah, I'll be able to upload more videos in the future. Thank you. See ya.